to Acoustic RGJ. My name's Roy Johnson and today we're going to be looking at arpeggios. So this video is really aimed at those of you who are new to playing arpeggios, but there'll be some stuff in here which hopefully the intermediate and more advanced players will also find useful. So firstly, what is an arpeggio? An arpeggio is basically where you take a chord and you break it up into separate notes. So for example, if I play a G major chord and I play those notes separately, I'm playing an arpeggio. So an arpeggio is just a repeating pattern of notes, and there are many different patterns which you'll come across during your life as guitar players. So as obvious as it may seem, the right hand is really important when it comes to playing the guitar. It provides both speed, volume, rhythm and tone. And if you get the technique right, all of these four will improve. Now tone is really kind of an important thing. You may have come across people playing really expensive guitars and thinking, wow, that guitar doesn't sound very good. Well, often it's not the guitar, but it's the player, and it's because they're not really putting enough force into the strings. Because after all, it's the vibration of the strings that makes the body of the guitar resonate, which produces tone. So again, one of the fundamental things of guitar playing: good right hand, good tone, good volume, good speed and rhythm. Now the principles we're going to be looking at today are valid both on the classical guitar and acoustic guitar for those of you who may be into singing songs and accompanying yourselves. The only reason I'm playing this on the classical guitar is the strings are a little bit wider apart and it's easier to see what I'm doing. So let's change things around a bit. We'll have a close-up and see how we achieve some of the things we set out to do today. Let's start by trying to get the right hand into a decent, comfortable position. What we're aiming for is to have no kind of tension in the right hand or the wrist. So if you find your wrist is kind of like that, almost like right angles to your forearm, then you're developing tension in the wrist, and that's no good for kind of smooth playing or playing for any kind of amount of time. So what we're really trying to do is if you can imagine a straight line from almost your middle finger up the middle of the arm to where your elbow is. That's the kind of position we want to get this right hand in. And my forearm is just resting on that top edge of the guitar. You'll also notice that if you just relax your hand naturally, you'll find that it forms almost like a kind of a claw shape. And that's ideal for guitar playing. It's almost a position we want the right hand to be in. So if you take that kind of that claw shape and bring it towards the guitar, what I like to do is put your A finger, which is your ring finger, on the first string, your middle finger on the second string, your index finger on the third string, and your thumb wants to be forward of your fingers. So that if you end up in a position where you're playing your thumb and finger on adjacent strings, they've got room to avoid each other. Now when you pluck the strings of a guitar, the movement of your fingers wants to come from one of your major joints. Now in your thumb, the movement comes from this joint here, and when you play with your fingers, the movement comes from this big knuckle here. A lot of people think it comes from these joints here or even these joints here, but it's by using these joints that you get lots of power. And to enable these joints to work, you need to keep the palm of your hand a reasonable distance away from the body of the guitar, so your fingers have room to move underneath your hand. And in fact, when you pluck a string, what you want to try and do is to feel as if your index finger is moving right into the palm of your hand, same with your middle finger and same with your ring finger. So you end up, it's a bit like that thing where you do the one hand clapping. You can practice that. In the fullness of time, you won't play such an exaggerated movement, but for now that will kind of get you into the habit of using this big knuckle to generate the movement. So let's see how that works in practice. So I put my thumb on the 6th string, my index finger on the 3rd string, middle finger on the 2nd string and ring finger, A finger on the 1st string. My thumb is pointing forward of my index finger, so I play with my thumb, free stroke, then I play the index finger, that's going up into the palm of my hand, middle finger up into the palm of my hand, and my ring finger into the palm of my hand. Now we started with all our fingers in contact and our thumb in contact with the strings. This is called, or what I call the plant position. Think of it as the start position. So we start off in plant position, play our thumb, index, middle, ring, and then we return to the plant position. Now the reason for returning to the plant position, initially anyway, is to help your fingers become kind of used to where the strings are, to become orientated with the strings. So we could go thumb, index, middle, ring, plant, thumb, index, middle, ring, plant, thumb, index, middle, ring, plant. So our starting point is the plant position, and at that point your hand should feel fairly relaxed because it's in that kind of that natural state. Now when you play your thumb, index, middle and ring fingers, at that point you've kind of created some tension in that right hand, and when they come back again, I want you to feel that as being the point at which that tension is released and your fingers go back to that relaxed state. So you have tension, 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 relax. Tension, 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 relax. Now at the moment we're really playing in a kind of a 5 time, because we've got 1 is played with a thumb, 2 is our index, 3 is a middle, 4 is our ring finger, and then the 5 is really kind of that plant, so kind of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now eventually we'll do away with the plant and we'll get the whole thing sounding much more uniform, much more 4 time. So well done, so far so good. But obviously the thing at the moment is we're playing this with a 5 count, because we've got a thumb, index, middle and ring fingers landing on the strings, and then we're planting everything back again to start. So that plant is producing the 5th count. But we want to play this in 4 time. So let's have a close up and see how we can achieve that. Let's just see what the difference is between playing it 5 time and 4 times. So 5 time is going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I play it in 4 time now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, whereas in 5 time the plant was taking a beat of its own, so what I'm effectively doing to turn it into 4 time is at the same time as I'm planting these fingers, I'm playing that bass. The bass and plant, or the thumb note and the plant, happen simultaneously. So I've got the thumb, middle, index, ring, and then the thumb and the plant happen at the same time. So you don't end up with that extra beat. We've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's no break between the start and the end of the roll because the thumb and the plant are both happening at the same time. So that's something you need to go away and practice a little bit until that's sounding nice and fluid. Excellent, so that sounds better already, and we're playing in 4 time. Brilliant. Now when we're counting these arpeggios, we can count them in either crotchets or quavers. So if we're counting them in crotchets, we'll be going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we're playing in quavers, we'll be going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now just be aware, if you're playing a song that's in 3/4 time, this arpeggio won't work for you. So you need to find a pattern that's either got repetitions of 3 notes or repetitions of 6 notes, and then you can play 3/4 time, waltz time, and have some fun with that. We'll touch a bit on that later on in the video. Those of you who have been listening really carefully to the notes you've been playing will have noticed that once you've played your thumb, index, middle and ring fingers, that when you do the plant, effectively you have kind of a dead spot. It's not completely obvious because at the moment you do the plant, your thumb is playing the bass note. But that notwithstanding, those 3 top strings, the G, the B and the E string are being stopped by your three fingers. They're being muted. Now we want to get to a point where as many of those strings can ring on as possible to get a nice kind of fluid sound. So as an interim step, what we're going to do, we're going to get to the point where when we're playing the arpeggio, we'll still be planting a finger, but this time it'll only be either one or two fingers on those strings. So there'll be more strings ringing on. And the only reason really that we're planting a finger at the moment is to help with stability of the right hand. Eventually you'll be playing almost with a floating right hand so that each note will ring on fully through until the next time round. Now to do this, one of the things we'll have to do is just amend the right hand technique a little bit, but we'll do a close-up in a moment and see how that works. Okay, so let's see how we can reduce the effect of that three-finger plant. This may feel a little bit mechanical to start with, but we'll start to feel more relaxed as the movement becomes less exaggerated. Imagine that I'm holding the guitar. So start with our thumb and three fingers on the strings in the typical kind of plant position. We play our thumb, our index finger, middle finger and ring finger. Now what's going to happen is we're going to play with our thumb again. So we play with our thumb, and at the same time as we play with our thumb, our index finger is going to go out in readiness to play the next note. And at the same time as our index finger plays its note, our two other fingers, the middle and ring fingers, are going to go out, so they're ready to play theirs. And then we could play the middle finger. Then when we play the ring finger, the thumb will go back up onto the bass note, ready to play its note, and then we go around again. So it's going from plant position. You've got thumb, index, middle, ring, and as you play the ring, the thumb gets ready to play. At the same time the thumb plays, the index finger goes out to get ready to play its note. When the index plays its note, our two remaining fingers go out, ready to play their notes. You play the middle finger, and as you play the ring finger, the thumb goes back up to start again. On the guitar it looks like this. Start in the plant position, we play our thumb, index, middle, and as I play the ring, my thumb jumps up to the sixth string. When I play the sixth string, my index finger goes out to play the third string. When I play the third string, the middle and ring fingers go out to play the second and first strings. I play the second finger with my middle finger, and then the first string with my ring finger, and the thumb goes up to play the bass string. So I play bass, index goes out, index, M and A go out, middle finger, A, thumb gets ready to play again. So each time I play a note, the next finger that's getting ready is actually landing on a string. So this is really just to help the right hand feel more secure. We're no longer doing a three-finger plant, we're kind of doing a two-finger plant, but that's just giving the guitar a bit more breathing space. And eventually we'll do away with that plant altogether, and you'll find that your fingers just float across the strings, and you get a really true, nice rewarding kind of rippling effect with lots of sustain and lots of ringing going on. So again, try counting this as 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can count it 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. One thing people sometimes struggle with is the fact that they'll get to an end of a roll and there'll be a pause before they start again. So again, it's almost like playing 5 time rather than 4 time. So that's where counting helps. If you can count regularly, you'll avoid any hesitations, but yeah, really be careful to listen out, make sure you don't pause at the end of the roll, and keep it nice and continuous. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's fantastic. I hope your guitar playing is now sounding more smooth and relaxed, and you're getting better tone and better volume. Speed will come with practice, so always practice slowly and build speed gradually. Get your technique right slowly and then the speed will come. So just a few thoughts about things to move your guitar playing forward. One of the things you can try doing now is alternating the bass note. So for example, we could play one arpeggio using the 6th string, then the next arpeggio playing the 5th string, then the next one playing the 4th string, and then back up to the 5th string, and then back up to the 6th string. You could then try combining that with some chord work. So for example, if we play from G to C to A minor to D7 and then back to G again, you'll find that you're utilising all those bass notes because they're going to be playing the root note of the chord. So we can play a G chord, 6th string in the bass, then you can play a C chord, 5th string in the bass, then go to an A minor chord, again 5th string in the bass, then into D7, 4th string in the bass, before returning back to G, 6th string in the bass. Now when you're able to move between chords fairly fluently, that's probably a good time if you're into singing songs. Look for some songs in 4/4 time. First of all, get used to playing the chord sequence and then try singing along with your accompaniment. Others of you who are into classical guitar, there are many classical guitar studies that you can find using this PIMA technique. So when you've cracked the 4/4 time arpeggio, maybe then is the time to have a go at 3/4. So as I said earlier, for a 3/4 arpeggio, you really need to throw in 2 extra notes. But the basic arpeggio is the same as PIMA. So you start off P, I, M, A, but then you will go back to your middle finger and then to your index finger and finish there. So you've got thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index, or P, I, M, A, M, I. So you can play that to 3/4 songs, or think of it as waltz time. Now don't worry too much about speed at the moment. Really focus on kind of having a good extended movement to try and generate some volume and some good tone. Don't worry too much about speed. The important thing is to maintain an even tempo. So get yourself a metronome and try slowly building up your speed. Once you can play fairly regularly on a beat, then just increment the metronome by say 4 beats and try it at that, and just gradually slowly increase your tempo. Great, so that's about all we've got time for today. Now it's over to you to go away and practice your arpeggio playing, building up your volume, your tone, your rhythm, and ultimately your speed. I hope you found this video useful and interesting. If you have, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Click the bell icon and then I can let you know when I've uploaded more videos. Feel free to add some comments at the foot of the video if there's any questions you have, or if you've got any sort of thoughts about other videos you'd like me to make. Okay, so take care, I'll see you soon, bye for now.